All right. Not.So.Burundian. Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure that I have a way to link the videos together later on. Okay, that should be enough. Not.So.Burundian coming to you with another video, yet another episode. And today we will be talking about how ready, or rather how safe Burundi is to take care of your investment. As a Burundian that is looking to reinstate yourself back in Burundi for business. And so I'll be back after this intro clip. Do not go anywhere. Right. So first things first, let me just quickly label this video as a video that is going to point out everything that is wrong with the current system in Burundi. Everything that you should be on the lookout for if you are to come and invest in Burundi. As an individual whose capital is limited, as an individual that only has once or maybe twice at most to try it out. If you are a company with an infinite amount of capital, if you are a company that can afford to fail once, twice, more than 5 times, if you are a company if you are a company that can risk waiting 5, 6, 8 years to see the profits come in, then this is not for you. You're good. This video is for individuals whose money is hard earned and are looking to come back and establish something that can work for them as far as business is concerned. Right, let's start with the biggest elephant in the room, which is infrastructure. And part A under infrastructure would be electricity. Now at the moment, electricity is not so dependable. It is not so dependable in Burundi. Depending on where you live, if you're in the capital, I am sure that there are certain areas that have been marked as places that should never experience a power cut for whatever reason. So I guess if you establish an industry in an industrial area, then electricity wouldn't be a problem for you, because I would assume that they never cut electricity in industrial areas. But that's just an assumption, so I don't know that for sure. But one thing I can say, if you are to establish a business that has anything to do with, that relies on high consumption of electricity to produce a final product for sale, then that is something that you should look into. Electricity is not constant at all in Burundi. And depending on the type of industry that you run, or rather factory that you're looking to establish, some may argue that the electricity provided might not be sufficient enough for certain machinery, depending on the type of machines that you're looking for it to run. If you're looking to do anything that has anything to do with arc welding as an example, then that is a no-no. Because arc welding consumes a hell of a lot of electricity. I can feel the camera shaking, which is not supposed to happen. But yeah, and then number 2, which is part B under infrastructure, would be roads. There is a finite amount of highways that I can count on my one hand that are operable without any fault at all. One of those roads would be this one here, RN4. The other would be the other would be 28 November. The other would be the road, the highway going to Chibitoke. But I'm not sure if it maintains its integrity all the way. But if you're coming from the city, anywhere from Old East Garage to the airport and beyond, there is a good stretch of road that is good. Other than that, most of the roads in Burundi need repair. And so if transportation is something that you will need to run your business, then you should know that our roads are not that good. And so your cars will probably need constant maintenance, constant repair, which is, what's the word? I'm forgetting all these words that people tend to use in economics. Which is an expense that you wouldn't otherwise have to consider if you were dealing in transportation in a country that has a well laid out road system and a good road system, which isn't us at the moment. So that's negative B, part B on the infrastructure. And then the other thing that you will have to consider, depending on the type of business that you do, and I did mention that this video was basically for individuals mostly, not companies. Because a company that establishes itself in any country usually has some political ties. It is small individuals and small businesses that tend to operate without any political ties, depending on the scale of your production. And so people like you are often left out to deal with the wolves in your own. And so that brings me to my next point, which is the tax system. The tax system isn't well laid out. And I mean that in the sense that you may have two people operating the exact same business, but none of whom know what the standard rate is for paying taxes as far as a particular product is concerned. That is something that is completely hidden from the general public. There is no document that I can think of right now that is readily available to the public that neatly lays out the tax system. As to whether, for example, if you were to import a particular type of car, this is the tax that you are expected to pay and the reason why you pay this particular tax. If you were to bring in a particular product, I can't think of one. Then again, I might be wrong, but I have spoken to quite a number of people, none of whom could point me, and these were businessmen, none of whom could point me to a document that lays that out. And so that being said, I think it's something that you should know. And that is the problem, because then it opens businessmen, it exposes businessmen to corrupt. It exposes businessmen to corrupt tax officials, because then they tend to be corrupt, and people are forced to pay more than what they would, because they do not have the policies or the information to go by in order to protect themselves. I just want to make sure that I'm saying that I am laying all that out in the right way. Let me try and speed up. There's a lot of wind blowing in my direction though. And so the tax system is a little shady. That's reason number 2. One of the things that you should look out if you are to establish a business in Burundi. And then you have a monopoly that is controlled by certain individuals of power. There are certain businesses that are known to be closed. Hold on. You guys should check out this area. It's an open area, an open field. I wonder if any construction can be done here. All the way to the mountains over there, Congo. This is the end of Gatumba and the beginning of somewhere that I don't know. So yeah, let me think of something else that you should be on the lookout for if you're looking to come back to Burundi and invest your hard-earned money. Yeah, well, I guess I can't think of anything else at the moment. So let's switch up the topic for the remaining part of the video. Whew. All of that being said though, I'm not in any way discouraging you to come and invest in Burundi. We are a young economy. We are a country that is basically just born, and we are at a crawling stage of an infant's development. And so anything goes. Anything is a trial. Most of the things that you will be looking to establish in Burundi are things that are just being introduced and going through the trial phase. And any economy that is going through a trial phase is an economy that you have to be patient with. But the government is determined to flip the narrative that we are not safe for the investments that come in. The government is trying its hardest to clean up its system and rid itself of individuals that are not on code with the development of the country. And so that being said, that should encourage you enough to want to invest in Burundi. And me being here is, well, there are more negatives than there are the positives at the moment, but it's changing. What matters is that the government and Burundians at large are looking to change the narrative, to change everything, to take us to the next stage. So I am almost at the border. Hopefully all the cameras are still recording at the moment. And yeah, I guess that's it for this particular video. But I guess I should finish with, come to Burundi first, take a month or two, come visit, test out the system, test out everything before you make your final trip, of which you plan to not return from, before you come for good. Take trips. Give yourself a 2-year period. Within those 2 years, take one trip of at least a month. Come check it out for yourself. Meet people, talk to people, interact with businessmen, interact with officials, and then draw out your own conclusions after that. Other than that, this is Not.So.Burundian here. I am out. It's the end of the video, but given that I am so close to the border, those of you that want to stay and have a good look at the border and what it looks like, we are between 150 to 200 meters away from the border, and so within 5 minutes we'll be there, even less. So yeah, I'm just gonna play a little bit of background music as we make our way towards the border. Oh, and by the way, this is a stretch of about 12 kilometers if you begin your ride from Bora Bora Beach. But if you were to somehow begin your ride from the roundabout at Old East Garage, then I guess that would total up to 13 to 14 kilometers. So 13 kilometers one way, 13 kilometers the opposite direction, totals up to a 26 kilometer round trip, which is a decent workout. If you're not a pro, that is, or even if you're a pro, depending on how fast you ride, it's a decent workout. It's one of the few remaining roads that have no fault to them whatsoever, no potholes, nothing. It is smooth tarmac all the way from the city to here. So we are 2 minutes out from the border. We're gonna be there in a few. Altogether, that makes it a 37-minute ride from Bora Bora, maintaining a speed of about 19.5 kilometers per hour. Or rather, yes, 19.5 kilometers per hour average speed. And so here we are. You have your taxis. If you are ever making your way from Congo, that is. And I'm going to end the video clip right here and make a U-turn. Take a sip of some water. Let's wait for Gaga as she makes her way here. Other than that, Not So Burundian here. I'm out.